好的，谢谢月友。Hello，大家好，欢迎来到园林区直播间，我是本次活动的主持人武荣，欢迎大家参与我们本期的 Dfinity 专场特别活动。又到我们1月1度的 Dfinity 专场活动啊，我们邀请到了 Dfinity 上面的优质项目来做客园林区直播间，与大家一起探讨如何围绕 Dfinity 构建更好的 IC 生态。那 Dfinity 目前是世界上非常快的，然后具有可扩展性的通用的这样一个区块链之一。那在其第1年实现了非常令人难以置信的一个增长，许多的构建和开发人员，然后在这里构建他们的 DApp， 并且各种 IC 平台上面的活跃用户数量也在不断的增长。那这种势头呢，在最近的 Supernova 全球的黑客松中也是达到了高潮。目前呢，也是已经有了3500多个注册报名，然后为开发者和团队提供了高达600万的美元的这样一个奖金和资助哈。那用于支持社交媒体以及游戏和 DeFi 还有 NFT 等等众多领域的Web3 的这样一个 DApp 的开发。那通过大规模的提供去中心化、透明和高性能的开发环境，然后 IC 可以让链上的 DApp 和服务，然后成为可能去塑造 Web3 的未来。越来越多的数字资产也将存在于Dfinity 上面。那本期的园林开放日呢，我们邀请到了 Dfinity 上面优质的 NFT 项目方，还有平台。例如CetoLabs， 还有即将推出 NFT 去中心化社交平台的 GoBazinga， 还有保障安全性全球 NFT 服务平台的 Crowdfund NFT， 和 IC 上面非常受欢迎的 NFT 艺术家 Door， 来听听他们如何构建在 Dfinity 上构建自己的这个 NFT 的一个世界。So hello everyone, I'm Dolores. Welcome to our fourth open day of fourth Web3 community. We are a non-profit community, and now there are public chains projects, ecological developers, and builders relying on different chains. So we welcome everyone to speak out through our platform and promote the development of Web3 together. Thank you for joining us at the fourth open day, where we are going to go through everything Web3 and the future of the internet. We are also a best place to launch or discover the brand new products constantly. Today, I'm so happy to have you here with us, and we're going to talk about the contributors within the IC ecosystem, as well as some questions in our panel. On this fourth open day, which is specific events of the Dfinity series, welcome to a bunch of quality NFT projects parties on Dfinity. So first of all, I'd love to have our guests introduce themselves. Briefly, our first guest is Justin, operations lead of the CetoLabs. We'll talk about F-NFT, and CetoLabs is the first order book trending platform of the F-NFT and the professional marketplace for crypto collectibles. So Justin, over to you. Could you please introduce yourself briefly to our audience?
Okay. Hello, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sure. Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be invited here, and I believe this is one of the first time to be invited and to participate in First Open Day. So I'm Justin. I'm from CetoLabs, and I'm currently the operation lead of CetoLabs. So yeah, nice to meet you guys. And we're doing a marketplace and for F-NFT and NFT as well. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's really great. So happy to have you here with us. Next is Door. Door will share a great NFT artist, CyberSkull, which is a tokenized blockchain artwork, present the futurized score in cyberspace. So Door, we'd love to hear your introduction as well.
Hello, I'm Dio, and I'm artist of CyberSkull, and I made a 888 kind of characteristic art, and I'm really happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Wow, that's really amazing. Please, really excited about you are here. Our next guest is co-founder of GoBazinga, Rich. I think he's a little bit late. So we can wait him a second in the next step. So firstly, I'd like to welcome the CEO of Crowdfund NFT, Luke. Crowdfund NFT is using smart contract technology to build a safer, cheaper, and a global crowdfunding service. So Luke, could you please introduce yourself briefly to our audience?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm Luke. I'm from London. We're based in London. And Crowdfund NFT is a Kickstarter-like crowdfunding platform. It's a rewards-based crowdfunding platform that's built entirely on the IC. So it's based on smart contracts and uses NFTs in a new sort of crowdfunding model on the IC. Thanks for having us.
Okay, that's really great. So let me check if our guest is here. Oh, okay. Okay, wait a second. Oh, okay. It's really our pleasure to have you guys with us here today. So let's move on the sharing from the guests, and really eager to hear how they build the NFT worlds on Dfinity. So, OK， 好的，那接下来呢，就话不多说，有请我们的嘉宾开始精彩的分享。So, firstly, we can start with the sharing from Justin. Justin, please do your presentation right now, and I can stop sharing my screen, and you can share your screen right now.
Okay, cool. Great. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, it's perfect. Please start again.
Okay, cool. So, so I would say thanks again. Thanks you so much for inviting us to First Open Day. I know you guys have been doing an amazing job in the entire Web3 ecosystem. I really appreciate it. And this is also one of the first time, demonstrating to all Web3 communities what we've been working on and introducing new concept to the public. So actually, just a couple of weeks ago, we did a rebranding of CetoSwap to Ceto. If you're familiar with the IC ecosystem, you probably have noticed that because we made an announcement and a lot of other projects that repost the rebranding of Ceto as well. So we have come back with a more ambitious goal of building the first order book trading platform of F-NFTs, not only on IC, but beyond. I personally did a research. Some projects may do NFT marketplace, some are decentralized exchanges. However, seamlessly combining them into one is something only Ceto does. So as you can probably see from the screen, this is our new logo. This is everything new. So we start from we have a brand new start, and the first auto book trading platform of fractional NFT has now become a slogan of Ceto. Right. So today, I'm bringing the concept of F-NFT to light. I believe many of you probably have never heard of the notion as F-NFT. What is it? What can we do about it? So every other months or even weeks, there are new concepts emerging. The blockchain ecosystem is an ever-changing playground, always exploring, and you always have fun and hopefully get great opportunities from it. So today I will briefly brought to you the notion of fractional non-fungible tokens, and I'll tell you guys how it works. So before we get started, you guys you might be very curious about what we do, what Ceto do. So the core of Ceto is to build an order book trading platform, as I mentioned in our slogan, but it's a platform for both fractional NFTs and fungible tokens as well. We combine the NFT trading with order book, making it a combo to boost NFT market. However, we're not a single runway participant. We have NFT Marketplace jointly promoted by C3 Protocol. And in the meantime, we are also a DeFi project. Because I personally know Dual. We have collaborations because recently we talked a lot about NFT projects. he has a very great ideas in terms of how to make art piece, how to make NFT collections. And recently, his latest collection, ICS, has made a great success on IC and even across public chains. A lot of people have come to notice that Duo is an excellent, is amazing NFT creator on IC, and probably our next collaboration on on top of F-NFT will make something different. So stay tuned. We are a marketplace, as I mentioned, but not only we are allowed to collect NFTs, but also you could trade F-NFTs and NFTs via order book. So we managed to blur out the boundaries in between. So nowadays, if you ever try OpenSea, Magic Eden, or if you are a crypto traders on Binance or OKX or Coinbase, there's a clear boundary in between. So either you an NFT trader or you a crypto buyers, they have to be traded in different platforms. But here in Ceto, we decided to combine them both. And in the middle, we have the new notion called F-NFT. So now we will dive in F-NFT world and explain how it works. Well, normally, an NFT takes the standard of DIP 721 backed by Fleek. It's a kind of a popular or trending NFT standard on IC right now. And to break this NFT into fractions, it must first be locked in a smart contract, which will then split the DIP 721 token into multiple DIP 20 tokens. And each fraction or DIP 20 token created represents partial ownership of the NFT. And the fractions can be put up for sale at the market price or listed with your own price setting until they get sold out. In case you are not familiar with that, on Ethereum, those NFT takes the standard of ERC 721 or ERC 20 standards. And to put it another way, F-NFT is to fragment a single NFT into thousands of millions of pieces. That's totally up to the project holder or the project creators. So it can also be regarded as shares. People can trade their shares freely in the market, just like stock trading, if you find that notion more easier to understand. In other words, we tokenize the NFT, as each share technically could be used as a form of cryptocurrency on IC or beyond. If you still find it hard to understand, you can regard F-NFT as the stock of a firm. In this case, you can think that as a project team. And NFT collections are simply the products the firm rolls out, and F-NFT is the stock itself of the firm, of the big company. So for NFT collection creators, there are also good use case for marketing. For example, Ceto can fractionalize their F-NFT into, let's say, 100K. So we will help with allocating portions to different communities we partner with, organizing giveaway events, and etc. By doing so, I believe the community will grow really fast. And they're attracted, the community will be attracted by the potential of the upcoming F-NFTs and the NFT collections pending as well. So once the giveaway of F-NFT is done, they could set a rule such as top holders of the F-NFT shares would be eligible for airdrops, whitelist spots, or the upcoming collections. So every time the project holder, the F-NFT holder, they want to release a new collection, there's always a way to attract potential buyers with F-NFT. However, we never call it a F-NFT fractions as a token because we never define it in a certain way. We totally leave that to project holders. For example, if you are a pure NFT creator, then definitely you don't have to treat it as a token. It's just a pure art. It's an artwork that can be fractionalized into millions of pieces. So still, even if it's fractionalized, it's still artwork. But if you want to take it in a different perspective, because deep down to the technological part, we use the standard of the IP20. So it can be regarded as token as well. So with the expanding and growing of the IC ecosystem, probably some of the fractions of F-NFT can be traded freely on the market, and it can be used in multiple kind of use cases. You may be able to use fractions from Bone, from FC, to purchase some NFT on IC as well. But who knows? I don't know. So we never define what F-NFT is. It could be anyways. We will leave that to the project holders. So a better way to think it is, to think F-NFT is that we can treat it as a DAO governance toolkit. It offers chance to their communities to vote and to benefit, promoting the project and constantly make it better. And yeah, so before everything starts, a project creator for an F-NFT, they might have something in mind. They might want to have a tokenomics of the F-NFT, so they clearly knows the distribution plan for their original supply. Let's say some portion will go to the community directly via airdrops, and some will go directly, will be deposited into the staking pool, and some may saved by the team, and some may stored for future use. So there's a lot of utilities as long as you can think of it. So it's a lot of fun in it. Well, there are actually a lot of benefits of F-NFTs. Here are 4 that come up with my mind. The first one is democratization. So the crazily high prices of some of the most popular NFTs are becoming unaffordable for many. Think about BAYC, right? Shutting out smaller investors or collectors from participating in the NFT space. This is definitely not something we want, but this is something IC has enabled us to do. Fractionalizing an expensive NFT lowers costs and makes it accessible to more people. And that's also part of the goal we want to do, we want to achieve. And the next one, I think, is greater liquidity. With the rising popularity of NFTs, popular collections tend to increase greatly in price. This makes some NFTs accessible to only a few wealthy investors. With fractional NFTs, you can divide the ownership of DIP 721 or DIP 1155 tokens into multiple DIP 20 tokens, making them more affordable. And next is price discovery. Thinking about it from a different angle, it can be difficult to accurately determine the right price for a more expensive NFT with very limited or no transaction history. Fractionalizing the NFT makes it more affordable and allows more people to trade the asset, making it easier for buyers to find NFT's actual value. And the last one is increased visibility for creators. With fractionalization, digital creators can get even greater exposure online because they're able to reach a wider audience and a more liquid market. So here is a demo page of what CetoLabs looks like. NFTs derive value from their rarity. Nevertheless, this also makes them less liquid than many other tradable digital assets. FNFTs bring liquidity to the NFT market by allowing smaller investors to own assets collectively. Fractionalization is the easiest and most effective way to sell expensive NFTs quickly. And to further unleash the liquidity, we introduced Order Book to boost the market. So as you can see here on the screen, Order Book, if you are a crypto veteran, a frequent traders in Binance, OKX, or other traditional centralized exchanges, you must be familiar with Order Book and all the advantages it has. They're just so useful. You probably get what I mean. Even you only buy some stock on some exchanges, you still have the same feelings because those K lines can clearly indicate, give you some informed information about which point and which time point you might want to sell and which time you might want to buy some cryptos. So that's I would say the biggest advantages we can take from Order Book. So we combine the Order Book with FNFTs, so making it a combo. And the good thing about FNFT is that we don't get to determine the value or the initial price because it all depends on the market. Just like stock, if the community thinks that the project's promising and have faith in the team, then they will buy their FNFTs and the price goes up. So that's a very simple logic how FNFTs might be driven by the community. it has value, just like NFTs. If you treat it as an NFT, then it is an NFT. So if you put it out in the market, the community will immediately buy and purchase with a certain price, so it has values. And another big step we take is to release a staking features. The staking feature is currently under development and will exclusively open to FC community first. And in this case, users can stake FC for an optional period, obtaining lottery tickets and some collateral earnings from the prize pool, into which 10% of the platform service fee will be deposited on a monthly basis. So the tickets generated from the staking pool will then be used to participate in CetoLabs community giveaways. Because every time we have new NFT projects coming up, or maybe F-NFT projects, there will always be a certain portion allocated to FC community or our native F-NFT holders. So now we have put all the giveaways into the staking pool to make it more fun and more fair. So the greater the number of lottery tickets, the higher the probability of obtaining the airdrop and a whitelist of upcoming projects. And we would directly transfer profits to your addresses by the end of each month. So basically, and in a summary, you will get what you would get from the staking feature, a lottery tickets and double ICP earnings. And soon we'll release an article explaining how it works and how much time you stake and will be exchanged for a certain amount of tickets. So we'll explain that later. And lastly, how do fractional NFT holders benefit? So after we talked about a lot of things about F-NFT, so probably you have a rough idea of what F-NFT is and what kind of benefits or advantages it has. But now let's, to wrap it up to you, I would say the most significant benefit for fractional NFT holders is that they get to own a percentage of a larger and more expensive whole NFT. Depending on the NFT and the platform where the fractional NFT was purchased, the holder may get exclusive access to the NFT community and other benefits such as voting rights. Just imagine that, like the example that I gave you earlier, BAYC, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I believe that not everyone can purchase one single NFT like BAYC. But if there's a BAYC being fractionalized into millions of pieces, probably many of us will be able to purchase some and hold some percentage of the original NFT. And in that case, before F-NFT is ever emerging, you will have to purchase the entire BAYC NFT to get the exclusive access to their BAYC community. However, if they approve and they accepted the notion of F-NFTs, more people will join in the community. Let's say you just hold 10% of original NFT and you're in. You're part of the member. And that's the most amazing things we can imagine. And as I mentioned, there will be a staking feature closely linked to NFT Market. So in the near future, fractional NFT projects may support staking, letting holders lock up their fractions on Ceto to receive staking rewards and other benefits like airdrops and whitelist bonds. And just some community members will be entitled with yield over time. And that's all the kind of benefits that F-NFT holders can benefit from. So with the help of the audit book, the F-NFT market will have more liquidity. Therefore, users will have more chance making profits out of the market. So last but not least, I will leave the question to you guys. Will F-NFT change the NFT marketplace? Well, about that, I personally have confidence in that, but I definitely leave that question to you guys. If you pay close attention to the NFT market recently in a couple months, Binance actually has published articles discussing the pros and cons of F-NFTs. The article has actually detailed explain how F-NFTs works and how they can benefit the community. Maybe this is the future, because I noticed that some projects on other public chains like Ethereum and Solana they've already begun their research on FNFTs, and they just do it in a different ways. So Ceto is actually take another path. It's quite unique and it's totally different. It's totally different from other projects, other competitors from different blockchains. We combine order book and FNFT. So we think the original NFT market lacks liquidity. So that's why we come up with this idea with order book. We want to make it more liquid. We have order book, we have FNFT. I think in a foreseeable future, the NFT marketplace will have more liquidity. And that's what I think. So maybe I'll leave this question to you guys. If you guys are interested in FNFTs and interested in Ceto, you can certainly try it out on our platform. So here you can see our website, www.CetoLabs.com. And you can also leave comments down our Twitter. You can DM us via CetoLabs. And thank you so much for listening. And I think that's pretty much in short about CetoSwap and how FNFT works. And I hope you guys like it. Thank you.
Okay, wow, that's really amazing. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Justin, for the amazing presentation. As Justin mentioned, Ceto is the first order book trading platform of F-NFT and the marketplace for crypto collectibles. So they are building a fully decentralized Web3 exchange from the August 2020 and designed to connect the creators and fans more closely. So we have known that the cooperation between Ceto and a more NFT creation platform will greatly enhance the user's trading experience and allow NFT creation platform to focus more on the creation of the collectibles. So we are looking forward to seeing Ceto will collaboration with more digital asset platform. So before we move on, we will explain FNFT and Ceto. Justin 刚刚有提到一个概念哈，就是 FNFT。就是我们可能有一些小伙伴们还不知道 FNFT， 那就是它是一种被拆分成很多单独部分的，然后允许很多人对整个 FNFT 拥有这个部分的所有权的这样一个特殊的NFT 哈。那其实就是为什么会有 FNFT 呢？刚才 Justin 也提到，它会降低投资原本无法负担的这样的一个成本。然后比如说我们以太坊上面的有的 NFT 现在已经非常昂贵了，那它被分解成好多个这种可以分解的FNFT， 然后就可以以比较低的成本，然后分发给许多人，然后可以让大家都参与进来，有更多的流动性，也增加了更多可以参与的机会和就是让大家去参与到这样多元化的社区中。当然也有一些劣势，就比如说可能因为一些监管的减弱哈，所以有很多的网络攻击的风险，或者在技术上关于一些比如说重组啊，或者一些其他的一些挑战。那也许也会有一些共有权的纠纷等等啊。那 Ceto 呢，它是源自希腊神话中的海洋女神，就是在海洋中可以拥有无限的力量，然后维护所有的海洋生物的秩序或者平衡。那带着这样的使命呢 ，Ceto 的目标也是在 Dfinity 上，建立一个真正的去中心化的这样一个加密资产的交易平台。那目前呢 ，Ceto 也是拥有了很多的功能。然后刚才Justin 也提到了 Ceto 目前对于 NFT 创作平台的这样一个更多的一个体验，然后让 NFT 创作平台更加专注于收藏品的创作，然后合作双方就是可以用一些非常好的这样一种机制，然后去促进更多的就是 FNFT 的流动，以及可以让资产更好的进行一个交易或者流动。那好的呢，就由我们有请下一位嘉宾。 来自 IC 上面非常受欢迎的艺术家多尔分享在 ICP 上创作 NFT 的这样一个经历。So, Door, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, please do your presentation right now, and I will stop my screen sharing.
All right, wait a minute.
Okay, it's cool. We can see it. Please start.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Dio. I'd like to introduce about myself and about my art and CyberSkull is. CyberSkull is a collection of 888 pieces of art created by me. ICS is not kind of project that art is ICS. Even though I am not an engineer or anything, I managed to create ICS individually for now. Perhaps maybe I will have ICS member in the future or not. No generative tools or software was used. All pieces were created by my hand. Each piece is one of a kind and has no reality. And what I'm most concerned with is enjoying my art and spreading it throughout the world. It's kind of pure art. I believe that the authenticity of the artist and my art are far more worthy and beautiful than the simple utility or roadmap. As we all know, many NFT projects, but like real artists here to stay and keep creating. In the future, maybe we will see the many different types of ICS corrections, like such as 2D, 3D, AI, and so on. ICS will evolve with a ton with the IC community. Now, how about we talk about my art and ICS, how got it started? The origin of my art in October 2016, I began creating typographic arts. During that time, I influenced by my gaming hobby. I discovered a game community called GFX, kind of graphics, where people create PFP, icons, SNS designs, artworks by combining logos and images. Self-teaching myself and researching and learning new elements like Photoshop, 3D, AI, and pixels. These encounters have accelerated my exploration of various new technologies, DApps, and so on. I created symbolic art using futuristic expressions and Japanese culture, subcultures such as anime and manga, game and the logos, which I have consistently fallen in love with since I began art, like in 2016. And mixing skull and abstract expressions that seems to reflect my deep psychology to symbols that shows the same Homo sapiens race, religion, age, and the gender. From there, works such as CyberSkull, future abstracts, AI inspired, and dual cells emerged. The skull represents death and abstractions. Nothing is more diverse and varied than the skull. It is something that all humans share. In today's society, the distance between life and death is like growing, from the neighborhood to the hospital, like vanishing into the digital realm. Skull has one of a major theme, like a memento mori. It means remember that you must die. All right. Next, I will talk about how I encounter with NFT and IC. I encountered with NFT around the beginning of 2021, and I discovered NFT. I first learned about NFT from people in the GFX, and I saw some of them doing NFT with a super rare, like 1 year ago, and I knew this was what I wanted to do, and I began a new challenge. And also I discovered IC Dfinity like in summer of 2021, And I learned about ICP, DApps, and ecosystems, communities, and so on. The more I became interested in the topics, and I began to consider publishing my NFT on ICP. And I saw like a good opportunity, and it began preparing an NFT for ICP. I also wanted to launch my new version of Foundation's popular CyberSkull series on ICP, and this was the beginning of ICS, iCyberSkull. And first, I wanted to make it unique to ICP while also making it special to use ICP theme. As a result, I began with 101 art first. At first time, the majority of NFT on IC platform were like 1,000 or 10,000 corrections only. But however, Japanese community member of his name is Mr. Odachi informed me that CCC can make one-of-one art. So I immediately tried it out and began building a prototype of CyberSkull with 800 APCs or like 8 years or Bitcoin or Ethereum integration and ICP theme. And there were limitations like 400 pixels. And I had to make something more like a pixelized. And that limitation shaped the art concept like pixel arts. And as a result, my ICS began with a pixelated concept, like an old retro game, black and white, and like my symbol red, and a deep and 4 colors from the ICP logos. And this ICP ecosystem trying out DApps and putting NFT on ICS and participating in the community. I believe like this will be artistic context in itself. And I finally started the CyberSkull Twitter account, and this account is me. I mean, ICS equal duo, so it's art and artist hub. Everyone can join and join our journey. Also, greatest extent possible, I had various events where participants could receive airdrops and white lists rather than just distributing them at just giveaways. And I issued a call for ideas in which participants could participate by sketching, texting, or otherwise, like anything can do. And for the second event, I put call for art for Skaru, like original character for ICS, and I gathered a lot of types of ICS art. And other events I held included a project to give whitelist to top 8 score in multiple runners, like maybe someone made it on the IC platform. And I also did a quiz. And I tried to think of creative ways to thank those who participated while also having fun with the community. And a quiz was how to help everyone can understand and learn more about the ICS. And the ICS community is gradually evolving. For example, ICS community member Kim, he has his own event where he presents 12 ICS each day, every day, and each week has giveaway his IC NFT to everyone who owns anyone who owns one of the introduced ICS. They pick a winner and give away his NFT. I do not give him any instruction. He's just do it his way, and very great that community itself organized such a nice event, and I really appreciate it. And I'm already thinking about the next ICP art, which will be free on chain, and including maybe it will be 2D and a SVG, like free on chain and new formats. And obviously, ICS owners will get those new ICS 2 or something next one. And even also thinking about number 888 iShares. Like iShares started from the number 0 to number 887. So there are no number 888. It doesn't exist. So maybe 888 will release with a new technology and a new way. As an artist, whether or not this succeeds, I believe my experience with Ethereum, Dfinity, like IC ecosystem, and my NFT will lead to further evolution. And I'm delighted to be part of this new innovation and history. I'm so excited about what will happen in the future, and I hope you will experience something new and enjoyable through my art. Thank you.
Wow, so cool. I really think it's pretty cool, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks Dor for the amazing presentation. Dor introduced us a wonderful CyberSkull world with the colorful and diversified and explore the world of the art and the score collection. So he just presented us with a new concept of the art, like this cool CyberSkull. So, and Dor explained the CyberSkull's community with a lot of corporations, like with CCC, and there are a lot of events or the activities in their community. So that's really meaningful for the IC ecosystem, and it also explains the way of living on this digital NFT world. So before we move on, I'd like to explain to our audience. So, Dor 刚才向我们介绍了一个非常酷的一个NFT 的这样一个世界哈，就是给我们展示了很多颜色各异的，还有多种多样的一个score collection 的一个艺术的世界，然后也跟我们说，就是他们的这个社区现在其实也是非常活跃的。我们可以看到，刚才在 CCC 上面的这个交易量 trading list 就排在非常 top 的一个阶段，也是他们的 Twitter 刚才我们也有看到，就是上面有很多的活动，然后欢迎大家去参加，然后加入，可以就是看一下他们构建这个非常美妙的 IC 生态。为我们展现了这样一个非常奇妙的 IC 的NFT 的一个世界哈，和艺术的这样一个融合。然后好的，那我们接下来就有请我们的下一位嘉宾。Oh, I see the Rish. Rish is already in our Zoom. Hi, Rish. Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
How are you guys? Very nice meeting you as well.
So please say hi to our audience.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I just got in late. I was just stuck in traffic, but thankfully I've been able to join in at this point of time. Hope you guys are able to listen to me.
Oh, I think.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi, Rish.
Yeah.
Could you please share your screen right now?
Sure. I will.
Okay, I will stop my screen sharing.
Cool.
Okay, we can see it. Please go on.
Sure. Thank you. So, hi everybody. I am one of the co-founders at Go Bazinga. We are one of the world's first social speculation platform. And what do I mean about social speculation platform? I'll talk about in the subsequent slides. But you can just imagine us as being the TikTok and something like a DraftKings, which is a fantasy league platform, combined into a single platform. So, which means you can see short video content on top of GoBazinga and speculate on that short video content basis different parameters. Essentially, what this does is we are helping 3 billion social media lurkers monetize their time on social media. How will we go ahead and do that? Again, we'll cover in the subsequent slides, but we are building this entire platform in a decentralized way on top of Internet Computer Protocol, ICP blockchain. And we are also one of the grantees at from Dfinity, which is Internet Computer.
Hi, Rich. I think maybe there are some problem with your internet. Hello, Rich. We can't hear you. Okay, maybe we lost him. Wait a second. Hi, Rich. Oh, okay. I think we lost him. Maybe we can wait a second.
Hi, guys. I think some internet connectivity issues. Can I share my screen again? You guys able to view my screen? Then I can just go ahead if you can just give me some kind of indication that you're able to hear me well. Guys, are you able to hear me? If you can just give me some kind of indication.
Hello, Rishi?
Hi, Luke. You able to hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Yeah, I think my internet connection is unstable, so it might be a problem for me to present.
Hello? Hello?
Hi, Luke.
How are you?
Okay, so I think there are something wrong with the Rish internet. So maybe we can move on, and you can share your presentation firstly.
Yes, sure. I'd love to.
Okay.
Okay, so let me share my screen really quickly.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, we can see it. Please.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So this is Crowdfund NFT. We're a crowdfunding service built on the ICP. This is our main website. The idea is that anybody can come in and create a project. The project will then be reviewed by the Crowdfund NFT team just to check that everything is legal and that project creators perform a KYC verification so that we have their identity. And if we look at any project here, the idea behind this is just to do crowdfunding. So DApps is trying to raise 2,680 ICP to promote their product and to build out their product. And what we ask project creators to do is to provide a set of rewards. So it's like utility for people who participate in the crowdfunding rounds. In this case, DApps is promising that NFT holders can highlight their projects at the top of the list on their websites. They can be marked with an early supporter badge. They can get bonuses and airdrops in upcoming collaborations. And so that's what they're providing in exchange for participation in their crowdfunding round. And how we've included NFTs in this model is that if the crowdfunding round is successful, so we run what is called an all or nothing model. Either the crowdfunding round is successful, in which case the project creators get the full amount of money, or the crowdfunding round is not successful, in which case everybody who participated gets reimbursed. Now, if the crowdfunding round is successful, then participants in the crowdfunding round will be delivered an NFT, and that NFT is like an access token for their rewards, the rewards that are promised by any given project. So it's been going well so far. We've been generating a few projects coming in. We've had successfully funded projects. We've also had failed projects, but it's all in a good direction. And once the projects are successfully funded, then the NFTs are delivered into the plug wallets of the participants. And we have also created a marketplace for those NFTs to be traded. So we don't really see NFTs in our use case as like art, or they're really reward tokens, access tokens to rewards. And we built a little marketplace where people can trade those rewards and can participate, can get access to the value of those rewards after a crowdfunding round is finished if they want to. So that's really our model, and that's our platform. And why we think it's interesting is because the crowdfunding market is a growing market. It's going to grow to $196 billion by 2025. And it's a market with a lot of flaws. There's a lack of transparency. There's not very good security. And there's a lack of incentives for participants in crowdfunding rounds. And we really think that we solve that problem with our systems architecture, primarily through our escrow canister, which manages all of the funds collection and disbursements. That's run on an IC smart contract. It's open source, it's verifiable. And what it means, well, the main thing that makes it sort of extra secure is that it's controllerless and black hole. So it's a piece of code that's written in a smart contract in the IC that governs exactly how funds are collected and dispersed for each single crowdfunding round. And it cannot be altered by anybody, including the crowdfund NFT team, which means that the service of funds collection and disbursement is fully tamper-proof, which is really interesting. And that's what blockchain enables. Because it's all run on smart contracts, it's all extra secure. Our assets are on smart contract. There's no risk of losing the NFTs. Our front end is on smart contract, canister, our back end, everything. And we've included this idea of incentives. So the idea is that rewards offered by project creators are tied to an NFT. And because they're tied to an NFT, they can be sold on secondary marketplaces, meaning that you can buy and sell access to rewards. Now, in traditional crowdfunding, you can't do that. You cannot buy and sell access to rewards. You either participate in a round and get your rewards, or you don't. So that's quite an interesting new model. And really, this is this part of our model that's really innovative. This is sort of exists already in crowdfunding. Projects give out rewards in exchange for donations, but we've created this whole secondary marketplace for rewards trading, which is proving to be quite successful. So what we want to do now is we want to grow within the IC first. We're recruiting IC projects onto our platform day by day, and it's going really well. Then we're doing the Bitcoin integration in late June, early July, which should be any minutes. And that means that we can then get crowdfunding rounds in Bitcoin. And that really opens up the playing field for us in terms of the projects that we recruit. We can recruit loads of Web3 projects across different chains to come do crowdfunding rounds in Bitcoin. And then we want to kind of become the standard of crowdfunding, because we think there's a benefit to our model that goes beyond just Web3 projects. It could be for any crowdfunding projects, even a shoe collection or a theater role. It could be crowdfunding on our platform. But for that to be possible, we need to have perfect UI, perfect UX, and we need to have stable coins of fiat payments to enable anybody to come and pay easily into a crowdfunding round. So that's what we want to do. That's our go-to-market strategy. And yeah, in terms of the tech, let's look at our tech roadmap. We've just done our secondary marketplace. We're integrating multiple wallets. We want to do video and image integration right now. So we're kind of at this section here. We want to do Bitcoin integration very, very quickly, credit card and fiat on-ramps integration, stablecoin integration, and then secondary trading and white label B2B products, which is another thing that I won't go into too much detail with. But yeah, it's just an idea of how NFTs can be used in our use case for crowdfunding as a real innovation in the space. They allow us to go beyond the market standards that exist already and create real value for people who want to crowdfund. So it's really exciting. And if anybody wants to come do a crowdfunding round for their projects, we've seen a bunch already, then please reach out and we can make that happen. So yeah, that's us. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, that's thanks, Luke, for the amazing presentation. And as Luke introduced to us, crowdfund NFT was so different with others because they using the IC blockchain allows for project creators to open up their crowdfunding round to the global audience with a cheap transaction fee and instant global payment. And NFTs provide proof of the participants to the backers so that their status as an early contributors and climb to reward are stored on the IC blockchain. Besides, the crowdfunding process can be run on smart contract with a tamper-proof fund management system to assure the automatic triggers for the fund release and the NFT disbursement. So we are looking forward to more about the developer expansion, marketing, and the community expansion and the amazing work that crowdfund NFT teams will create. So yeah, before we move on, I will explain for our audience. 就如刚才 Luke 所提到的哈，那 Crowdfund NFT，它与其他的一些平台与众不同，是因为他们使用了这个 IC 的一个底层的基建，那允许项目创建者向全球观众开放众筹，然后并用低廉的交易费用哈，然后进行一个及时的全球支付，并且可以向支持者们提供参与证明。这样他们就作为早期的一个贡献者的这样的一个身份，然后去获得奖励，并且这些奖励都可以储存在 IC 的这个链上。那此外呢，众筹的这个过程也可以在智能合约上面进行一个运行，具有防篡改的资金管理系统，然后确保自动的去触发报销以及资金的释放，还有支付等等。那我们也是期待更多的关于开发者的扩展和社区的这样一个发展，以及crowdfunding 团队，未来可以创造更多的、更好的一个产品和发展。我们也看到了刚才 Luke 跟我们分享了他们的 roadmap， so we are looking forward to the crowdfunding's development. So let me check. Okay, I think we lost the Rich because they are super wrong with his internet. So let's move on. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to our panel and more about the project in the IC ecosystem. So we do have more questions for you today. Welcome to join us for the Q&A. So the first question is, the Supernova GLobal Internet Computers hackathon is underway. This shows the active and the repeat growth of the developers in the IC system. So why did you choose IC to build applications? And so this question is both for you guys. So maybe we will start with Justin. Justin, would you please answer this for us firstly?
Yes, sure. So actually, there are a couple of reasons why we chose to build our DApp on IC at the first place. However, there are some points that I really feel like I have to highlight. So the first one is on-chain storage and computation, which is no doubt the biggest and core competence that IC has. If all those conditions are met according to their plan, I personally believe this will be a huge success, even compared with other mainstream public chains. Just imagine literally everything is running on chain and not a single public chain will be able to do that. Take online storage as an example. Right now, most data are stored on centralized servers like AWS by Amazon, and there are some alternatives. If you want to store your data on chain, the options could be IPFS, Filecoin, and etc. To make it happen, you either have to access centralized servers or cross-chain service. But in the future, you could do that on IC with a really limited costs with no limits to the data sets. So another thrilling news is the promise IC gave us earlier to integrate Bitcoin and Ethereum. Nowadays, Bitcoin and Ethereum ecosystem accumulates most of the active users of blockchain. Dfinity ecosystem needs more participants and fresh blood, novel ideas flooding in. We also have such plan to enable cross-chain users to trade on Ceto by integrating multiple wallet entrants with the infrastructure building of IC proceeding smoothly. So in a word, IC could have a promising future if all the preconditions are met. And we're happy to be one of the first batch ecosystem builders. And let's wait and see what happens next. So yeah, there are a lot of, there's a promising future of IC, and we're kind of looking forward to that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Justin. So before we move on, Dor, do you have any other additional ideas? We'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
Me?
Yeah, Dor.
As a goal, my answer?
Yeah. Could you please answer the questions for us?
Right. Actually, I already answered some reason why I said it. I see in presentation, but like this question is like almost directly answered because I chose IC because it clearly has an active developer base and a great place to try out new technologies, and I thought it could be scaled in the future. Also, I'm Japanese, and I felt that the IC Japanese community is pretty big, and it has many excellent engineers and interesting people. And I felt a similar atmosphere to the early days of Ethereum. I like to try new things, and so I was convinced that IC could definitely can do something interesting. So that is why.
Great. So great. Okay, Luke, would you please answer this for us as well?
Yes, I completely agree with Justin that the main thing is full on-chain storage of data sets and code. Like everything runs on smart contracts. There's a couple of other things that I think really, it's the core, that's the sort of engine, and there's some benefits that come from that. The first for us is interoperability. It's actually really easy to integrate tools on the IC that other developers have built. We integrated Plug Wallet as our main wallet provider, which is dead easy. We can integrate more wallets. We can integrate video uploading tools. We're integrating Dbox right now, which is a messaging service, principal ID to principal ID. And it's because all of the data runs on the same system on these backend systems, and every single component is on a smart contract that's really easy to plug into. So I think the core benefit that Justin mentioned, which is that all data is stored on chain, code, assets, everything, makes it really easy to be interoperable with other systems that are running on the same chain. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the reverse gas model, which is very good because transaction fees are flat and extremely cheap. 0.001 ICP is nothing for a transaction fee compared to other chains. And that makes, in our use case, for example, it makes reimbursements possible. You couldn't really run a crowdfunding platform on a blockchain that has a 30% gas fee. Otherwise, how could you do reimbursements? You'd pay twice as much in reimbursement fees than you would for the actual reimbursement. It's not economically viable. So that's another thing that's really helpful for us. And the sort of long-term wise, I think the NNS governance system makes the whole function really decentralized, and we can integrate community voting with the SNS pretty soon. Bitcoin integration is a massive plus for us. It really opens up the network. ETH integration is great as well. So there's all these reasons why the IC is just like technologically superior to other chains. I think that there's, other than tech, there's some downfalls. I mean, it's not very well regarded in the wider Web3 community, primarily because of price action. But yeah, for NFTs, it's a wonderful thing. The NFT standards are very easy to use. The gas fees are flat, so trading is easy. And interoperability with all sorts of products integrations are coming in faster than you could ever believe. So it's cool. It's great.
Yes, definitely. The IC runs on the reverse gas mode, meaning no gas fee for users, simply a lower cost. So this makes the payment affordable. And regarding accessibility and the use cases, the IC can mirror existing the centralized service better than other blockchains. This include the speed, storage cost, and gas fees, and more. So we are all looking forward to the integration and the ecological developments of the IC. So before we move on, I'd like to explain for our audience. So刚才几位嘉宾都有提到哈，那 IC 在运行的这种 gas 的这个模型上面，这就意味着它是一个成本更低的，就是我们提到的 gas 费非常低廉，这就让大家都可以负担得起。就在 IC 生态上面的一些构建以及交易等等。那关于一些可访问性啊，还有用力啊等等，那 IC 也可以比其他的区块链，然后更好的去体现一些 集成的这样的一个功能。那这些一些比其他区块链更改进的地方呢，不仅包括我们刚才所提到它的集成性，还有它的 gas 费，还有它的一些速度和存储成本，还有它的代币经济的一些模型哈。那我们都期待在 IC 上面可以融合更多的生态发展。So let's move on to the next question. Rick Porter, the founder of the Discover, actually he was our guest about our fourth open day. Once talk about how NFT has changed the world of the social network site on chain in one of the Supernova hackathon events. So, do you have plans to combine your projects with other different directions in the future? Okay, Luke, do you have? Could you please answer this for us? Firstly, do you have more additional ideas? Share with us.
Yes. So obviously we just released our secondary marketplace, which we think is a really interesting tool. There's NFT verification tools that we want to release as well. That it all forms part of our model, right? So the idea is you come in, you do a crowdfunding round, the NFTs are distributed to backers, then they can get traded on secondary marketplaces, but then you have to have a system enabling verification of NFT ownership in order to provide rewards back. So the rewards need to be provided back. Right now, that's left in the hands of project creators, but we really want to do that as well. So we want to develop a very sleek NFT verification form and proof for backers. Now, more long term, there's some other plans. Part of the one big plan that we have in mind, which isn't certain yet, so don't hold me to this, is to try integrate the SNS in order to do not only crowdfunding rounds that back NFTs, but crowdfunding rounds that back tokens. So you could do basically the same system that we're running right now with NFTs, but with a tokenization platform through the SNS. So you could crowdfund for your projects. If it's successful, the tokens get released, and suddenly you have a living, breathing token on the IC blockchain for your backers to trade, use, collect, whatever. So that's one of the bigger ideas that we've got going as well. But really, we just want to stick to crowdfunding. It's big enough, and there's plenty enough for us to worry about. So it's interesting. But just enabling project creators to provide all sorts of rewards through NFT verification, whether it's on social networks, tech platforms, VR, anything. They should be able to use us easy peasy to provide the rewards back to backers.
Wow, that's awesome. I think, okay. So Justin, would you like to give us more about this?
Yeah, sure. So I think Ceto has already give you the answer to this question. So F-NFT is our option. NFT has always been a hot topic in the market, and not only it's trending on Ethereum, Solana, Binance Smart Chain, etc., so much more, but also on Dfinity. So the concept of non-fungible token has gone viral across Web 2 and Web 3 for more than a year. So as a DeFi project on IC, Ceto will also take the advantage of the NFT marketplace, and which we've already done. We generally promote the NFT marketplace with C3 protocol, but we always have the idea of doing fractional NFTs, which I have just explained, and we combine the order book into F-NFT trading. So for a long time, the NFT market has been condemned for the reason of lacking liquidity, since they're all best sellers and top-notch collections backed by amazing teams. Why don't we fractionize it and make it more liquid? I believe investors or NFT collectors will be quite interested. Thinking of fractionalizing a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT into 10,000 pieces. How many people would try to buy and hold their shares? I think a lot of them will. Me too. And to further unleash its liquidity, order book sounds like a good idea to us. So if ever used a centralized exchange, you will be quite familiar with it, as it instantly displays buy and sell prices. Investors could thereby make more rational decisions with clear indicators and reference. So we will move on with F-NFT market expanding. In the meantime, fungible token listing is also part of our plan. So XTC will be coming to Ceto next week, and more will follow. So the introduction of audiobook certainly has blurred out the boundaries between fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens. And that's really the fun of it. So still, this is going to be our main focus, and even for a long term. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Okay, Dor, we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Any plan to explain into the others?
Of course, we will collaborate and cooperate with various projects in the future, and not only art or artists. I'm already working on more and more ideas such as settles and F-NFT and new technologies from CCC and so on. And I really think IC is a special place. Like even as an individual artist like me, can take on a wide range of technical and new challenges. So there are so many opportunity and chances to try new things. So yeah, I will.
Yeah, oh, that's really great. Of course, we really hope that every project can jointly build the IC ecosystem. So we're willing to stick to it and maintain the health growth of the ecosystem and the vitality of the community. Like Justin and Dor both mentioned the F-NFT and the FT, and Luke mentioned the SNS. So we're really looking forward to seeing them. So let's move on to the next question. As the representative of the NFT related projects in the ecosystem, what are your expectations for the development of the IC? Justin, would you please answer this for us firstly?
Okay, sure. Well, maybe I'm not the best person to ask the question. I would say the developers definitely have a lot of say upon this, as they deeply understand the flaws and weakness of IC currently facing, and will come up with some more instructive ideas. But as the operation manager, I am more aware of how the community reacts to this, to IC, to the entire ecosystem. So I'll probably discuss this from a more general perspective. In my view, Dfinity Foundation could proceed the IC infrastructure building more quickly, because currently I think everything has become so lacking, so they can definitely do it more efficiently, so that IC could hold more applications and support service even from Web 2. Let's say currently we have a lot of training topics and concepts out there, socialify, gamify. But if that being said, with the future development of IC, we can even have on-chain music and movie platforms, e-commerce platforms even. And there are many more we cannot even imagine right now. So by that time, users themselves will have full controls and access to their personal data, realizing a truly decentralized Web3 ecosystem on internet community. So right now, everything promoted by Dfinity is a bit too slow, and which in a way has limited what we can do and what we will be able to provide to our users. So my biggest expectation for Dfinity Foundation is that maybe the authorities and the foundation can, just push forward their jobs a bit more efficiently. And that's the biggest thing that I am considering right now. Thank you.
Thanks you, Justin. So, Dor, do you have any additional ideas to share with us?
Yeah, I've been said this like since last year. IC still has just too few artists in art. It's too few, and also maybe DApps are still in their early development stage. But I really like IC because fascinating technology and knowledge, and there are no gas costs and fast processing speeds. So I really love it. And but so I expect more art platforms or maybe more art related dApps, and I really want out of more artists will come to IC. I want to see that.
Yeah, we both want to see that. Okay, the last but not least, Luke, we'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
Well, I actually disagree a bit with Justin and Duo on this. I think that I basically think that there's a couple big things that are going to happen that open the door completely. The first is Bitcoin integration. I think partly of why the IC has been slow so far in terms of user adoption is not because of the tech. Developers love the IC and they're building on the IC like crazy. You don't see decentralized social medias on other platforms and decentralized VR tools and decentralized metaverse projects and like infrastructural projects like you do on the IC. It doesn't exist on other chains. So the developers love it and they're building crazy, but why isn't user adoption coming in? First of all, the systems are still extremely young. Like in our case, we have to compete with Kickstarter and GoFundMe, but we're only 6 months old. You know, we have to catch up a lot of our features, but that will happen across social media platforms. It'll happen in DeFi protocols. It'll happen in our case for infrastructure projects, for metaverse, for VR. So across the board, everybody's going to catch up with the features that you need to compete properly. And then it's been price action. Nobody's going to get involved in price action. It's so ugly. So how do we solve this? I don't actually think it's with an ISP token doing better or whatever. It's with Bitcoin integration. As soon as all of the services on the IC run on Bitcoin, you can do crowdfunding rounds in Bitcoin. You can do tokenization in YouTube, a decentralized YouTube in Bitcoin. You could do messaging with Bitcoin NFTs and Bitcoin transactions on Dbox or on Dmail. You could do VR gaming protocols, fractionalized NFTs, all of it with Bitcoin. That's going to create a wave of influx of users, in my opinion, who don't even care about the IC. They're just going to see, you know, oh, well, I can do crowdfunding run in Bitcoin. Oh, I could use YouTube with Bitcoin transactions. Oh, I could tokenize my platform with Bitcoin. They don't even care that it runs on the IC. It's irrelevant to them. So that, I think, is going to really explode the IC and the IC NFT space. And it should come imminently, and SNS will help as well. But the Bitcoin integration, I think, is underestimated as a force for the IC ecosystem.
Yes, definitely. So the IC actually is one of the networks that has implemented the greatest number of positive changes to the other model. Rather than simply using the same code, IC is an entirely brand new platform made by the developers conscious of the pain points on Ethereum on the who have permit for the real world adoption. Actually, in 2022, Dfinity's main focus is the BTC integration and SNS initiative and the platform security and developer experiment and more decentralization actual. So before we move on, I'd like to explain the guests mentioned to our Chinese audience. So 刚才我们的嘉宾也都提到了呢，IC 呢是对于其他的一些模型啊，就比如说其他的区块链实施最多的一个积极改变的网络之一。那它不仅仅是简单的使用一些同样的代码，然后在一个全新的平台上，而是就是去根据以其他的一些区块链的很多痛点进行了一个更改，并且更好的在现实世界中去采用它。那在2022年呢，我们也可以看到哈，就是 Dfinity 关注点在于，比如说像 BTC 的整合啊 ，SNS 的一些倡议，比如说平台就整个链的一个安全性和一些稳健性的，还有就是开发者的更好的一些体验，包括像更多的去中心化等等。那我们也期待像 Luke 和 Justin 刚才都有提到的关于 IC 生态如何被更多的人就是所认可、所使用，等等的，比如说他们的社区的更好的发展等等。那 so thanks again for our guests. We do hope your projects will have more development and more cross-boundary collaborations in the future in different fields. So let's stay tuned and catch up with the development of all of these great projects. So thanks again, Justin, Dor, and Luke for today's amazing sharing about what you have done. And take care. See you next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye. 好的，那就再次感谢几位嘉宾今天的到来和精彩的分享，让我们期待在2022年的更多领域，他们有更进一步的发展和合作，也期待 Dfinity 生态能够更加的繁荣和社区更加的丰富。好的，那非常感谢来到我们原力开放日的嘉宾的精彩分享，和我们直播间的朋友们。那原力区呢，后续也会继续为大家带来有趣的话题及生态资深大咖的分享，欢迎关注我们原力区的公众号，然后加入我们的 Telegram 和 Discord， 在社群内与我们互动和交流，精彩活动第一时间知道。谢谢大家，我们下周二再见。Thanks everyone. We do hope you have a great day with us today. See you next time.